Hey, thanks for joining me in the kitchen today. I have an essential salsa for you that is like absolutely one of my very favorites. But you have to like spicy things because this is an habanero salsa, and I'm going to show you how you make it in the absolute best way, the way they make it in the Yucatan Peninsula. And these are the people that domesticated this chili. These are the people that really know what it's all about. So I've got 3 ounces. Now that may be around 10 or 12 of these. If they're pretty big, then maybe 8 of them or so. These are the orange habaneros in the Yucatan Peninsula. They have both the orange and the green habaneros. Some people prefer one or the other. In the United States, it seems like all we can get is the orange habaneros, so I take it because I like them. Now, what makes this thing so special is the flavor of the habanero. It's different than every other chili that you're going to lay your hands on. It has this fruitiness, this floral quality about it that makes it really spectacular. It also has an amazing amount of heat. So you have to make the salsa in the way that I'm going to show you so that you can use just droplets of it over a dish, and then you're going to get all the flavor and bridle the heat a little bit. Now, while these are roasting in this dry comal that I have here, you could use just a dry skillet for this. I'm gonna put 3 cloves of garlic that are still in their little papery husks there and let them roast right alongside the habaneros. This is gonna take someplace around 10 minutes or so. I'm just gonna keep turning them until the habaneros are blackened and blistered on the outside and the garlic is completely soft on the inside. Okay, I touched the garlic to make sure that it was completely soft through. You can see that these have the little black spots all over them, but critical thing is that when you touch them that you know that they're soft. They've cooked all the way through. So we'll take all these guys off now, and I'm going to put them directly into a food processor here. Of course, we've got to peel the garlic before we put it in with them. It smells so good in here. You get that aroma of the habanero coming through just in that roasting process there. Peel off the little papery skins from these guys here. Oh, and you can see they've got little spots on them. See this one here? It's got a spot like that. That's okay. That's going to add depth of flavor to what we're working on here. And I'll add these guys too. Now, if you made this salsa with raw garlic, the raw garlic would just overtake it. And the reason that I like to work this roasted habanero salsa is because a little goes a long way, and you can keep this in your refrigerator for at least a week. I'm going to say you could push it to 2 weeks for most people. Okay, so I've got those guys in there. We'll put those guys off to the side, the little peels there. And then I like to do this in a food processor because my blender is large and there's not enough material for it to grind it up. But in the Yucatan, of course, they would use a molcajete in a very traditional kitchen. I'm just going to pulse it until everything is more or less finely chopped. I want a little texture to be in this, but you'll notice that because of the garlic, it will stick on the sides of the blender. But now I am going to add a seasoning of lime juice to it. So I'm going to squeeze fresh lime. Now, you have to kind of stand back from that because if you get your face right over it, all that heat will come up and greet you. It usually takes for this amount a couple of tablespoons. These are kind of small limes, so I'm going to put both halves of it in there. So there we go with that. Add just a tiny bit of water because I know it's going to need it, and then scrape down the sides of the food processor so that we can get everything moving again through it. Now we want this to be what I would call a coarse puree. Certainly not smooth, but a puree that has a little bit of texture to it. So top goes back on, and now I'm just going to run this. So everything is moving much better because we have added the liquid ingredients to it. Of course, we have to add salt to this to bring the flavors up. So again, avert your face when you take the top off of it like that. Add the salt to it. I think it'll take about that much salt. And then we will run the machine one more time. Now we have to determine texture on this. How runny do we want it to be? What I've got right now doesn't seem runny at all. I'm going to scrape it into this small bowl that we have here. As I said, a little of this goes a long way. But I do want to make sure that the salsa that we end up with isn't too thick. And what I've got right now seems too thick to me because people would have a tendency to put a full teaspoon of it on something, and that probably for a lot of people would be a little bit too much. So I'm going to add a little bit more liquid to it. See, it's mounding up here. I'm going to add a little bit more liquid to it. Stir that. Now this is the texture that I'm looking for here. You see how beautiful that is? Maybe just even a touch more. Now, I don't want to leave you hanging with just a salsa that is so hot you can't imagine what it's going to go on. I never did taste it either. I usually taste this in a different way that I would taste other kinds of salsa, so I'm going to just put a little bit of it like that on my palm and then taste that to see it blossoms in your mouth. All of those wonderful habanero flavors, but as you can hear with my voice, it's also all that habanero heat. So I don't want to leave you hanging with this salsa, so I'm going to show you something that is a very, very quick use for it, and I think that this will make you much more inclined to make this salsa. Take a little bit of good mayonnaise here, and I'm going to add to that a little bit of this habanero salsa. So probably just about a teaspoon will be the right amount. Stir that in, and you have an habanero mayo here. You could add a little bit of chopped cilantro to this. I think it's going to take just a touch more just by looking at it here. And then give that a taste and see. So the creaminess of the mayo really does temper the heat, but it doesn't obliterate the flavor. So you get this really wonderful habanero mayo. Then you add equal portions of buttermilk and sour cream to this, and a little bit of black pepper, perhaps some garlic, and you've got an amazing ranch dressing. And then if you want to add a little bit of crumbled blue cheese to it, then you've got a really wonderful blue cheese, an habanero blue cheese dressing that is absolutely spectacular as a dip for vegetables. So think outside the box. Of course, this is delicious on cochinita pibil, on poke chook, on many Yucatecan dishes, or just if you like spicy food and you want to smear a little of this on top of a fish fillet before you put it under the broiler or on the grill. It works great for all of those things. But think about the use of it in a creamy mixture like this habanero mayo or a ranch dressing or a blue cheese dressing, because I think you're going to love the flavor of it.